Canberra Metalheads.
The Archives.
Me and You Season 2. Alright, let's kick it.
Hello and welcome to the interview section of Canberra Metalheads. You got Marky Malphas, and I'm joined here with the guys from Dead. From right to left, we've got...
I got Jem, I play drums,
Cool.
sing a bit.
Jace, I play bass, sing, and on the recordings, I
Yep.
play guitar. That's it, actually.
That's it,
Just
yeah,
guitar, yeah.
Cool.
Guitar and bass.
Rad. All right, well, it's good to have you guys on the show. I noticed you playing the the crazy show last night at the basement, doing the I was actually showing the video before to Jim before the up on the barrier, doing the final part of the closing of the show.
Yeah.
I dig that feel. And also I was talking to one of the boys, we were talking to him after Trainer used to run the bar, and he was saying that like anyone that says they're into drum and bass, you could say, good, oh, you like Dead then.
Yeah. Well, he said it was the most brutal thing he'd heard in his time.
Dude, it was insane, like as far as... Because it's also unique, and it's not often we get a two-piece. I mean, we had Bellwitch play at the basement from Washington.
Yep.
If you guys know those guys. Yeah. And
I heard him, yeah.
But like a slower doom metal band.
Yeah.
But it's cool to see a two-piece rocking it out, smashing it through. You guys are... I was saying to Lukey earlier, it's good that we have a gig with you guys on it, because I remember way back in the day when you used to play at North Street.
Yeah.
He'd come home with vinyls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he'd say, man, I don't have a record player, so can you play this for me so I can listen to it? And
those gigs were awesome at North Street, and it's really cool to we met people when they were underage, and now, however many years later, they're
bands. And
there's a lot. The energy that space created, definitely affected, a whole kind of generation of kids around here, which was really cool to see.
Yeah, well, it influenced Lukey, and he's running gigs now.
Sure,
so,
for sure.
And created South Coast Metalheads off that.
Yeah.
They definitely influenced everything that he's done there, because that was the first taste of actual gigs.
Yeah.
He used to go to the occasional all ages festivals and things like that.
Yeah.
But it was the first vibe of what it was like to actually hang out with bands and
Sure.
watch proper sort of gigs.
Well, it's pretty up close in that
Yeah.
that venue, so. But that's what was great about it too. You did meet kind of almost everyone who was at the gig.
And it also helps with dudes like Drew that kind of are in the scene. It gives you a different perspective, I think. Sometimes when you get venue owners that haven't played in bands before or been part of the scene for a long time, it changes the vibe. So everything was good with him and the venue and what he did for the scene.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say, it's like if you're growing up and the only music you've seen is at festivals or on big stages, there's this barrier. It probably makes it feel a bit more like, oh, that's not something I can do.
Yeah.
But then, in that North Street Cafe is about as ridiculous as it could be.
That's right.
As far as having a squish in there. And so you sort of see it without any of the effects or any of the any of that kind of Vaseline on the lens that
the Vaseline
that a big show might do.
Yeah, perfect, man. It's like one of those things, that it's like a personal crowd when I've seen crowds really close where so it used to be this venue I used to do comedy at called The Front.
Oh yeah,
and
we played there.
Yeah, so that space, right? Where if you have a mic stand fall over, one of the audience members can pick it up. That's what kind of personal level you want. You want the audience to be able to, if they want to, touch you.
Yeah, I have a lot of chips in my teeth and one tooth removed because of mic stand, one of those mics smashing into my mouth. Yeah. A lot of times at gigs like that, and basement gigs and shit like that.
Yeah.
which are the energy is right there. You can't ignore it. So it's
I think that's one thing with the basement. Although it's gotten bigger, it's still maintained that personal feel. With the basement, like it's gotten bigger, but it's still maintained that vibe.
Back room's great.
Yeah, I love that room.
Yeah.
It's like a proper venue, but it's it's not crazy size. Like it sounds good, and it feels really good to play. The stage is great, and it's great.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you guys like got a massive sound, and in that room there, it just like really brings it home. Yeah. So I like that feel about it.
And they have a barrier that we can stand on and be idiots.
Yeah, I love that part. I'll probably chuck that video up on our Instagram later for everybody to check out. But yeah, it's a really cool that you guys did. As soon as you jumped up on the barrier and started playing the last bit of the drum beat, like from a standing position, I'm like, let's see where this goes, man. And I was pleasantly surprised. We got any... So at the moment we're at the Smokey Dans venue, the second part of the Capital of the Coast tour, and we doing a day gig here. Chud's just about to kick off out the back. Then
who are awesome.
Yeah, man.
We were really stoked to see them last night. It's great.
Yeah, cool. Like this, have you seen Chud before?
Never.
Never heard of them.
No.
So in my mind, I can't seem to think of another industrial metal band in Canberra. I think they're one of the only, if not the only industrial metal band in Canberra.
Yeah, I didn't pinpoint it to that, but I did hear like little bits of Killing Joke, who are like a really I love Killing Joke a lot.
Cool.
So I heard that in them, and I like the kind of bit of punky element. That's kind of my favorite metal. Has got a bit of punk to it. The drummer really.
Yeah, they just got that good energy. They just seem like weirdos.
It's good, man.
A mismatch of people.
Yeah, and they're sort of, it's like they're backing whatever it is that they're doing. They're not hesitating. Yeah.
And that's been their vibe since I've been watching Chud now for 2012, I think.
I didn't know they were.
I think they're originally the Devil's Work was a lot of the members were in a band called Devil's Work, which had some similar style. And now Chud. But yeah, man, they've got a song called Tyrant, and it's just raw and like insane. And I remember the first time I ever seen them play that, the guitarist Whiskey just like had was it, those like glasses that like they have eyes like holograms on it. He's just playing Tyrant with these
those
like
freak me out,
creepy like hologram eyeglasses on. And I just didn't like, it's just whatever, I'm doing my thing. You see sometimes he wears like a balaclava on stage and just random things like that. Well,
he had that kind of raggy.
He wore the rag last night. So that's cool, man. It gives it a good vibe. It's a bit like the Template Empire. If you've seen, they're like it's like an Arabian black metal band, and they dress up like crazy outfits on stage and stuff. That's why we go and see live music, because it's a performance as well. Like definitely, you don't get that from listening from the album.
No. It's hard to tell what a band's like. I mean, it's a different thing, isn't it? But yeah. So we spoke like some of the live gigs that we've done, like that you've done, including like Smokey Dans. Now we got the basement last night, and all the way back to North Street. What sort of venues have you got any highlights of like venues that you played around the place? In Australia?
Or overseas? Has there been like any that stood out?
Oh man, there's heaps.
But
for me, I like the smaller shows mostly. I mean, it's not like we play heaps of big shows or anything, but and some of them have been good. Like there's a festival that we played at in Montana in the US called Total Fest, which it was on top of having amazing bands that we love to see, we got to play with them, which was awesome. And that was some of the kind of bigger crowds that we played to. But then the next day we might play in a basement in a tiny town,
or in a burrito bar where they don't pay you.
And
so they pay with burritos.
No, that's like that. Yeah, that was 2 days in a row, wasn't it? You played pretty much the greatest show of your life.
Yeah.
Get paid, awesome audience, and then the next day you turn up to the venue and the promoters just completely done a like he just completely shafted us, like, and had no intention of ever paying us.
Man, I've heard.
I mean, we don't get to play big venues very often. When I say big, like, as in venues with proper PAs and stuff.
Yeah.
So every now and then we do, and the thing that always strikes us is, wow, it's so easy when you have a nice PA. It must be so easy for people in, like, you know, inverted commas, real bands.
Yeah.
So.
Well, for years we kind of played, when we played in Canberra, we played at this
someone's house.
What's the Watson house? Did you ever go to that? It was in Watson.
No, I didn't actually.
Some like a punk house.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
And we just play in the lounge room.
Yeah, okay.
And they just take the lounges out or whatever, and I don't know. 15 people could cram in.
Yeah.
Some people would have their head through the window. Some people would be leaping in and out. You know, it was amazing. They were always amazing shows, but you know, yeah.
I did see there's like a little 2-person mosh last night.
It was incredible.
Do you get like many moshes with your gigs? You've seen some cool
we
pits.
played at an 18th birthday recently.
That's right, yeah.
And it was like everyone was moshing.
Yeah.
So, but not really.
I mean, honestly, most of the most common response for us is that people don't know what's happening or where to put it.
Yep.
And it usually takes a few times, you know, for then people to kind of warm to it. So that's, I mean, last night I assume those 2 people had never seen us before. That's really unusual for us.
Yeah.
It's
or
really,
they were just.
It makes us just really happy.
Yeah, it's great.
But you never know. Someone can be really, like, we might be at a concert and loving it, but you wouldn't know it, you know. So I don't really care what people do as long as they don't hurt each other. But yeah, we probably demand a little bit more attention of an audience than most people are willing to give these days, you know. So
as long as I think crowd involvement definitely changes. I think it lifts kind of the atmosphere as well. I get a lot of bands.
It's always good to feel like we're in it together, not just, you know, playing at.
Yeah.
But probably our volume sometimes to some people is fairly confronting.
Yep.
It's impossible to know. I don't know what it's like to watch us. So
yeah, because none of it's confronting at all to us. It all makes sense to us because we wrote it.
That's a bit like when I interviewed a band on the show. It was like a hardcore band called Kid Presentable, and they have like crazy pits and mosh pits and stuff like that. Yeah. As well as another band, actually Honest Crooks. They have like a insane crowd sort of presence, and I think it definitely feeds into the vibe of the night.
Well, the thing with us is, you know, we in a set, even if it's only half an hour, we kind of we don't just pummel the whole time. So I think people don't really know what to do. Like, if you're a hardcore band, then you just, you know, your songs are pretty consistent.
Yeah.
People can
sort of
do the lawnmower and all that kind of shit, and they know it's not going to change too much.
Yeah.
But, you know, no one wants to look like a fool. You're halfway through a lawnmower and then
beat changes,
we stop and, you know, it goes quiet. You don't want to be, you know, laying bricks or whatever you're doing.
You got all the moves down pat. The other ones, the
fishing.
It's like, so Honest Crooks have some pretty insane pits, and it seems to be an ongoing thing that there's like the ninjas as well. They get like all the the invisible ninjas. Get some pretty crazy little pits going on there. But no, it's good, man. It's good to. I know that, like you mentioned before, you like played some punk gigs and things like where most of the bands in the bill are punk, sort of thing like that. I know the punk crowd's pretty good with the mosh pit. So, remember, have you ever heard of band Stand Alone? They're like so they're a punk band that played in Canberra. It's made up of a lot of members from like X-Rose Tattoo. Guys.
Yeah, right.
And man, I watched them play at ANU, and that was probably one of the more insane crowds I've ever been to, because it was like just like punks that grew up listening to Rose Tattoo, so these guys have been through like that scene.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and they were moshing.
Oh well,
like 40-year-old, 50-year-old guys moshing.
No, it's just the pure intimidation of the thing, because I'm sitting there like, I don't want to mosh with these guys because they know what a mosh pit is.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was. I'm 45, and
Yep.
mosh pits were different.
Yeah.
It was just like a game of attrition back.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say it was. Well, it's so hard in my day or
day.
whatever. But it was pretty violent. Yeah.
Yeah. No, man, that's one of those things. So you mentioned like gigs and things over the years. How long you guys been in the scene for? How long's Dead been going for?
10 years next year.
Yeah.
Rad.
So 9.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we've both been playing for a long time in other bands. But yeah, Dead's almost 10. So which is, for an underground band, it's a pretty long stint in a way.
Dude, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And you got vinyls and stuff like that as well. Like they're the albums that Lukey used to bring home. I was saying before. So yeah, man, because I reckon when you laid them all out, like I was like, oh, that's like. I've seen them for so long because Lukey bought them as they came out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, it's cool to see that people can still pick them up and still get them. A lot of the time, people put out limited runs of stuff, and you never see like vinyl presses. Available all the time.
Yeah, I mean we do that to a degree, but
yeah, I mean we do it, but we just keep releasing more stuff.
Yeah.
So it doesn't. Yeah. A lot of our stuff is out of print, but it doesn't really bother us. It's all on the net,
Yeah.
Most people that have it just stole it.
Well, see, like over the past 10 years, you've probably noticed the dynamic of how people get music has changed just in 10 years alone.
Yeah.
So as the bands progress, technology's changed around it, I guess. So kind of you got to adapt for how people are listening to music.
Always.
Or just stay what you do, and then people adapt around it. If they really dig what you guys do, they're going to still get those mediums. I know bands that release albums on, like Kid Presentable was saying before, released an album on cassette.
Yeah.
Still sell copies because people are like, well, I'm getting a cassette player because I want to hear this demo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's no it's always been the case, but more and more everything changes so fast now. No one actually knows how you're supposed to do it. And everyone that says that they do are lying and usually have something to gain by telling you that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there are bands that have never released a physical product in their life.
Yeah.
And they're huge. And there are bands that, are only doing physical product and they sell lots. So,
yeah, it's
really up to whatever those bands can find works for them.
It's just a classic example of how everything's driven by the fans, If all of a sudden I did something that everyone liked, then, that's what people are after. It doesn't exactly...
Yeah, we're not too fussed on the mediums and stuff. I mean, we make albums. We don't make, we enjoy the fact that we make a record to be listened to as an album, but we can't control what people do.
Like on that subject, do you guys find, because you got vinyls, do you find the recording process different to if it was to be a digital medium?
No, because we put it out as both.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we basically usually design it as how would it be as a record, and then from there.
Like if you fantasize that someone will put an album on and listen to it from the start to the finish, that's what we think of.
Yeah.
And it's
whoever does that, I don't know. But,
because that's how we grew up listening to music, and it just demands a little more attention.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different to streaming something off your phone, and then halfway through the song, someone sends you a fucking YouTube video, so you look at that, and then you go back. And it's not.
Yeah.
Whereas I grew up listening to, Jethro Tull records that were one song.
Yep.
And stuff like that. So you're supposed to take it all in as one.
You just go from start to finish.
Yeah, that's a lot to ask of people now. To say,
shorter
for the next 40 minutes, this is going to be what you focus on. You know, You're lucky to get 5 minutes out of someone.
Yeah, I guess like in the consumable society that we live in, it becomes a lot quicker. People tend to target their audience at like a 30 second to 1 minute like window up to 5.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I don't think about that stuff, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
I just. We joke about this, but my goal is to write a good song.
Yeah.
And I know I may be the only one who we may be the only one who actually care about that, but that's our goal. I don't think about who's going to buy or
Yeah.
I don't really think about any of that stuff.
I think that's like good to have as a standstill though. It's like saying that because you'll be always happy doing what you're happy doing, yeah? So if you're happy producing music and you're not tailoring it for the audience...
Well, mate, no one's offered me enough cash to even consider tailoring anything.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I'm not saying that I would do that, but,
Yeah.
It's insanity if you're trying to... I mean, I know bands I've had friends in bands who are like, we're gonna do this thing, and that's because it's gonna be big, and then it's not, and then they've been in a band for 5 years, kind of not enjoying it. It's that's
they're just
that's
chasing some imaginary thing that doesn't actually exist.
Yeah,
they think might happen.
I think
congratulations if it does.
Maybe we just also both of us we didn't grow up together, but we grew up both playing music predominantly to people that fucking hated it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, that was our experience of playing music. So the idea of playing to some crowd that adore you, it's never... I'm not saying I wouldn't like it. We can probably count on maybe 2 hands the shows that we've done where there's actually like an energy coming from the audience that would vaguely match that which we're putting out. And every time I do that, I go, shit, that must be what it's like for, a band, that's got a big following, like even maybe, friends of ours, like the Hard-Ons or whatever. That must be what it's like for them a lot of the time, that a lot of the work is actually being done by the audience.
Yeah, yeah.
But for us, predominantly, we're usually kind of filling a space that's, you just have to work twice as hard to kind of, like a show like last night, there's not a lot of people there. So those people that are there, you have to work harder to give them a good night. Give the
energy,
because there isn't that sort of, I don't know, there's just an energy that happens when there's a crowd of people focused on
I get
that.
You guys were the, I guess because of the unique structure of the band, and it sort of throws everyone off because they're used to seeing a 4 or 5 piece, and then all of a sudden 2 piece smashing it out loud, getting a good getting good vibes. It kind of it's why everyone was like, whoa, look at this, man. Like, people were coming. There was like a band on next door, people going outside to get, to have smoke or whatever, and then just hearing you guys and just coming over and being like, what's going on in there, so that's a good thing, I think, that it kind of shocks people and then it draws their attention just to be something different.
Yeah, it can work that way. Like, we've always kind of been accepted by metal audiences, and often we get that, it's like we're 2 little in stature guys making a huge noise, and for whatever reason that's, it's kind of, I don't know if it's respected, but it's, it's like a talking point or something. But
it also carries respect. Definitely does carry respect, I think.
Cheers. Yeah. But then it might repel other audiences, like, hipsters in Melbourne often find it too much. You know? So it's, it all depends.
I think that it's just anything that's too intense. It makes people feel emotions that they're not used to feeling. So a natural reaction is to repel from that. As opposed to embracing it and being accepting of...
seeing what happens.
Exactly.
I'm a cook, and it's the same as 9 times out of 10 people say, you put too much chili in it. What they mean is, I'm not able to process that. It's not, I didn't make the mistake. It's got the right amount in it, and if you can't take it, that's fine. It's not a bloody pissing contest. But people's brains are usually wired to go, well, everything happening around me must be what's wrong, rather than... So, I mean, music, like anything, is a language, and most people don't speak the same language as us musically. So if they want to put some time into it, then they'll usually get something out of it, and they'll probably like what we do. But most people don't have the, most of what we're sending out is not being received by them. It just gets received as noise. And I mean, I can think of bands I saw when I was a kid that felt that way, that years later it now seem actually quite pedestrian to me. Yeah. But at the time it was just, they were just throwing too many things out that I hadn't, so I couldn't really process them. It could be anything. It could be like, you go to Turkey and people can dance in 9 and 7. It's not weird to them. Yeah. But to an Australian, it's like, whoa, if it's not 4 or 6, I don't know what to do here. Yeah, yeah. It's what you've gotten used to. No, I get. We play, we play heavy music as a 2-piece. There's a lot of 2-pieces doing heavy music nowadays, but they all seem to rely on toys, and we're just. To me, it seems like, oh, thanks. You left this great big chasm in heavy music, because most of them rely on delay pedals or
that sort of
having
stuff.
17 amps or this or that, which is fine. I'm not putting them down, but you don't get something for nothing. It always comes at a cost. If you want to do a loop and then solo over it, it's not the same. Yeah. So Jace can't do that, so he has to kind of solo and then go, oh, hang on, maybe I'll put in a low note, or I have to go, what am I going to do? That is what you're hearing. Yeah, absolutely. That intensity. You're hearing two people go, shit, how do we fill this space without relying on, gimmicks or toys or technology? Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. You mentioned, toys on stage. Do you guys have any, what sort of kit do you have set up? Is there I mean, everything that we do could have been done in 1967 or something. Yeah, yeah. Technically.
Yeah, there's no tricks.
I mean, Jace sometimes has delay for when I'm tuning my drums. Or when we're doing an intro. Yep. And that's it. And I have an acoustic drum kit, and we don't have effects on our voice, besides, maybe a bit of reverb if we're lucky. I mean, we're not, we'll do whatever we want to do, but we partly don't do that because we've toured a lot, and the more stuff you have, the more stuff breaks down. And
yeah, that's cool. Yeah. So you guys are just more or less just untampered sounds, really.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty old school when you think about it. Yeah. But we haven't. I guess at the beginning when we started the band, I thought I had to cover a lot more, stuff. And I had used the guitar amp and stuff, and it's just simplified over time for various reasons, and it feels better. Feels like us, when we've kind of come to a point where we hit our own thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's more intense to us. It's just there's just something, because there's that feeling of this could fall apart at any time. If you stop playing bass, it stops. You don't have other noise to...
that's an interesting dynamic.
It is actually very...
it's direct.
And the way we play, I always feel like, it could just... we play in such a way that if you fuck something up, it's pretty obvious. Well, it is to us anyway. There's a lot of critical... things done together.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's not a lot of...
it's like you guys have got so much momentum that if you stop, you'll fall over.
That's a really good way to put it, actually. Yeah, I like this. You can... it's like if you're riding a bike a bit too fast, or you're running downhill a bit too fast, or you're surfing a wave a bit too fast. They're all the same things that... you're on the precipice of the moment that things are going to fall apart. And that's what we do in our sets. And then we mix it up now we're doing more kind of pop songs as well. And
yeah, for sure. No, that's good, man. It's good to mix it up with all that stuff.
We do have to
All
play,
But
yeah.
anyway, thank you very much for catching up.
Thanks very much.
Thanks for
having
the
us.
interview.
It's a pleasure.
We'll play the track after this. Off what album can I choose any song from?
Yeah, I mean, I stand behind everything we've done.
Cool. All right.
Choose whatever you
Stick
like.
around and
Yeah.
listen to a Dead song here on Canberra Metalheads.
Thank you.
Bam!